The evening air drifts softly over the quiet coastline, carrying the gentle scent of salt and pine. Imagine stepping slowly along the sandy shores of Roanoke Island, where the waves lap softly against the land, and the sun sinks low, painting the sky in muted shades of gold and rose. Long ago, a small group of settlers arrived here, seeking a new life across the water. They built homes, planted crops, and left footprints in the soft earth, but one day, they simply vanished. No sign of struggle, no hurried departures, just an empty village whispering questions into the wind. Tonight, we will wander through the calm mysteries of this lost colony, exploring the quiet clues, the hidden stories, and the gentle secrets that linger where the settlers once lived. Let your mind settle, your body relax, and your thoughts drift slowly as we step softly into the story of the lost colony of Roanoke. The night settles softly over the early American countryside, and as you listen, I'd like to take you back to a world that moved at a slower, quieter rhythm than the one we know today. In this first part of our journey, we drift to colonial New York during the Revolutionary War, but not into the battles or the chaos that fill most history books. Instead, we slip into the calm spaces between those moments, the still evenings, the steady routines, and the quiet uncertainties that shaped the world George Washington and his hidden network of watchers lived in. This chapter focuses on the gentle beginnings of secrecy, the silent world where the Culper Spy Ring would eventually take shape, and the mystery that settled like a thin mist over each town and harbor. Imagine the lands around Long Island Sound as they were in the late 18th century. The air smells of salt and damp earth, almost unchanged for centuries. A thin line of smoke rises from chimneys scattered among wooden farmhouses, carrying with it the scent of burning oak and early supper. The roads are rough and narrow, shaped more by the feet of travelers than the hands of planners. Horse hooves sound soft against packed dirt as people move quietly between villages that are neither large nor bustling. Everything feels a little slower here, as though the land itself breathes in long, measured rhythms. On the shoreline, the tide pushes gently against the sand, rolling in small waves that break without urgency. Fishing boats sit still in the water, their lanterns flickering like tiny stars caught in a slow dance with the water's surface. Their owners finish tying ropes, their motions patient and practiced, saying little as they prepare to return home. The British troops who occupy many of these areas patrol the roads with a heavy, steady presence, yet even they seem softened by the long evenings, their silhouettes muted in the fading light. Though tensions run deep beneath the surface, the landscape stays calm, as if holding its breath. You might walk along one of these village roads at dusk, hearing the distant creak of a wooden sign swinging gently above a tavern door. A soft wind passes through the tall grass, brushing against your ankles like the touch of sleep. In the fields, crickets begin their slow, rhythmic song, their chorus blending with the steady hum of nighttime settling in. Lanterns flicker warmly inside modest homes, casting soft, golden glows onto the ground outside. Families finish quiet conversations at their tables, and the scent of baked bread and stewed vegetables lingers in the air. It is in this world of small movements and soft shadows that our story begins. Before there were codes and ciphers, before invisible ink and secret numbers, there was simply the need for clarity in a time clouded with uncertainty. George Washington understood that he could not rely solely on force or battlefields. He needed information, things whispered, things observed, things carried slowly across the countryside by careful hands. He needed people who were not soldiers, but listeners. People who lived, quietly, in the very places where the British held power. A farmer, returning home from the fields, might pause when he sees a group of British officers standing near a tavern door. He might not know what they discuss, but he notices how many of them there are, whether their uniforms look worn or new, whether their horses seem prepared for travel. A merchant delivering goods might observe which ships linger in the harbor longer than usual, or whether crates arriving from across the Atlantic are lighter or heavier than expected. These small details rarely seem important in the moment. They drift like tiny seeds in the breeze. But gathered carefully, slowly, day after day, they become something far more meaningful, and so, in this quiet world, a sense of mystery begins to take root. It's not a dramatic or frightening mystery, nothing sharp or sudden. Instead, it feels like the soft turning of a key in a distant lock, a gentle suggestion that something is shifting beneath the surface of daily life. People notice unusual movements of soldiers. Whispers pass between neighbors about supplies being taken, or officers arriving unexpectedly from New York City. On calm nights, when the moon sits low over the fields, riders might travel from one village to another, not in haste, but with a determined quietness, as though carrying thoughts they do not yet know how to speak. There is no single moment when the Culper Spy Ring suddenly appears. Instead, it grows gradually, like the slow blooming of a flower. Washington's trusted aide, Benjamin Talmadge, begins to imagine ways ordinary people might gather and send information without drawing attention. The idea is simple in its early form: people who are always present are often the ones no one notices. Those who blend into the background, farmers, shopkeepers, ferrymen, widows, and riders who travel familiar paths, can observe the world without suspicion. Even in the earliest days of this idea, you can feel a subtle energy in the towns along the coast. It is not tension, nor fear. It is something quieter, a sense of being part of something larger, even if the people themselves do not yet know it. A fisherman might look across the water and wonder what news floats between the waves. A shopkeeper might glance out her window a moment longer than usual, watching a group of soldiers march past, noting their direction and their pace. A rider might choose a different road home, guided by instinct more than reason. Everything moves slowly here, but nothing is still. The land listens, if you imagine yourself standing near one of these quiet harbors. You might feel the cool evening air drift around you. The water reflects the last strands of daylight, broken only by the gentle bobbing of wooden boats. Someone far away closes their shutters, and the soft thud echoes faintly across the calm. The smell of pine, wet rope, and evening mist settles around you, and you begin to understand how easy it was for secrets to hide in a place like this. They don't need dark corners or locked rooms. They can rest, unnoticed, in plain sight, woven into the slow routines of everyday life. This first chapter lingers in these small, patient details because this is the atmosphere from which the Culper Ring eventually emerged. Before names, before codes, before missions, there was simply the land, the people, and the quiet understanding that something needed to be done. The British controlled much of New York, and Washington needed to see through the fog of conflicting information. But the people he relied on were not trained spies. They were neighbors, friends, and familiar faces, and in this slow and steady beginning, there is a soft hint of mystery. A sense that something is gently unfolding, almost unnoticed. Like a letter about to be written, or a signal waiting to be imagined. Nothing rushed. Nothing loud. Only the quiet readiness for what would come next. As we leave this first part, let your mind settle on the image of that calm shoreline. The lanterns glowing faintly in the dusk, the road stretching quietly into the countryside. Let the thought of small, careful beginnings rest with you a moment longer. When you're ready, the next part of the story will open its own slow and steady path forward, continuing our peaceful walk into the hidden world of Washington's early spies. The early morning fog drifts lazily over the harbor, soft and pale, as if the world itself is taking a slow, deep breath. The village streets remain quiet, wet with the dew of a long night, and the smell of damp earth mixes faintly with the scent of salt from the nearby bay. Wooden shutters are still closed on most homes, and a single lantern sways gently in the breeze, casting a warm, sleepy glow onto the cobblestone streets. This is the gentle stage on which our story of secrecy begins to take shape, where ordinary lives intersect with extraordinary purpose, though no one yet fully understands it. Benjamin Talmadge moves softly along one of these quiet roads. His horse walks at a measured pace, hooves barely disturbing the packed earth beneath. Talmadge is deliberate in every gesture, careful in every glance, because he carries more than just himself. He carries an idea, a vision that must remain hidden until it grows strong. He is thinking about George Washington and the impossible task set before him, to know everything that the British commanders do, without ever confronting them directly. The need is urgent, but the manner must be patient and slow. Here, secrecy thrives in ordinary movements, in the calm repetition of everyday life. Talmadge's thoughts linger on the people who might help. Not soldiers or trained spies, but civilians, people who live their daily routines, whose presence in town is constant, familiar, and unremarkable. Farmers who tend fields, widows who run small shops, ferrymen who carry goods across the water. They move unnoticed by the British, yet their eyes see much, and their ears hear more than anyone suspects. In the quiet mornings and evenings, in the soft rhythm of daily life, these ordinary citizens could gather the information that would become invaluable to Washington. This is the heart of the Culper Ring: subtlety, patience, and blending into the ordinary. It begins with small, almost imperceptible acts. A merchant notices the arrival of ships earlier than expected, their hulls heavy with supplies. He takes note in his ledger. But no one around suspects that his writing carries a secret significance. A young rider travels the road connecting one village to another, careful to memorize the number of soldiers passing along his path. He hums softly as he rides, the sound swallowed by the fog, while the knowledge he carries travels unseen. These are the quiet gestures that form the invisible threads of a network, threads that will eventually connect distant towns and bring clarity to the unknown. There is a gentle sense of mystery in these movements, a soft undercurrent that hints at secrets lying just beneath the surface of everyday life. You might notice it too, if you imagine yourself wandering down one of these sleepy roads. A shopkeeper pauses at her door, listening. The distant toll of a bell echoes across the harbor, marking hours that pass unnoticed by most. Shadows shift slowly, and the fog curls around wooden posts and fences. Somewhere, someone writes a letter with careful, deliberate strokes, folding the paper with precision and sealing it in wax. The contents are unknown, yet they carry the weight of potential change, the quiet power of information. Talmadge recruits a few trusted individuals to begin the work, people whose loyalty is certain, and whose movements raise no suspicion. Abraham Woodhull, a soft-spoken man from Setauket, becomes one of the first. His life is slow and ordinary, tending crops, walking familiar roads, observing quietly. Yet under this calm exterior lies a mind alert to every detail, every subtle change. Robert Townsend, another careful observer, moves among merchants and townsfolk, noting arrivals and departures, storing facts in his memory, and sending them forward in letters that appear simple but are laden with meaning. Together, these individuals form a quiet current beneath the surface of a world at war, almost invisible, yet profoundly significant. The methods they use are deliberate, unhurried, and almost ritualistic. A note might be written in invisible ink, applied with care and patience, drying slowly so that the words remain hidden. Messages are folded and hidden within everyday items, a loaf of bread, a stack of papers, or a bundle of laundry hung on a line. Nothing seems out of place, and everything appears natural. Even the British, watching carefully for signs of treachery, cannot detect the subtle measures in place. There is an elegance in this quiet sophistication, a harmony between secrecy and the ordinary world, and it is in this balance that the Culper Ring thrives, and yet, there is a soft tension that accompanies this calm. The people of the ring know the consequences of discovery, though they move slowly and deliberately rather than with fear. Each journey along a quiet road, each hidden note, each moment of observation carries the quiet weight of responsibility. But in the same breath, there is wonder, the realization that ordinary acts, performed patiently and with care, can ripple outward, influencing events far beyond the reach of any one individual. It is a subtle kind of heroism, soft-spoken and almost invisible, yet quietly powerful. As the sun rises higher, the village comes alive with soft activity. Farmers step from their homes, tending livestock, their feet sinking slightly into the moist ground. Women move between houses with baskets of food, their movements measured and calm. The air carries a mixture of scents, fresh cut hay, wet earth, and the salt of the nearby bay. In this serene environment, it becomes clear how the Culper Ring could operate unnoticed. The ordinary flow of life is itself the perfect cover, allowing messages to travel and intelligence to reach Washington without alarming anyone. The quiet world itself becomes an accomplice in secrecy, and so, in the gentle dawn, the birth of the Culper Ring is complete, not with a flourish or a declaration, but quietly, with the soft alignment of purpose and patience. The people chosen for this work move in their daily routines, blending seamlessly into the rhythm of the villages, carrying with them the awareness that their ordinary actions are extraordinary in their impact. A small glimmer of understanding spreads through those involved. Even in a world of quiet routines, secrets can shift the course of events. The mystery lingers, soft and persistent. What will come of these hidden observations? Which messages will be carried successfully, and which might be lost in the fog of a world slowly waking? These questions remain unanswered for now, resting in the gentle folds of time and space, inviting curiosity rather than worry. The intrigue of invisible communication, the careful planning, and the unnoticed efforts of ordinary people form a story that grows naturally, slowly, and steadily. As we leave this chapter, imagine the road stretching far into the countryside, mist curling softly over the fields, and the quiet movements of the first members of the Culper Ring. Notice how the sun reflects on calm waters. How the sounds of morning blend with the subtle rhythm of life, and how ordinary hands carry extraordinary weight. The soft, gentle beginning of this network is a reminder that history is not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it is found in the small, patient, and quiet acts that go almost unnoticed, shaping the world in ways no one could see. And as we drift from this scene, know that the next part of our story will follow these secret paths further, revealing the clever methods, codes, and invisible connections that make the Culper Ring one of the most fascinating and quiet stories of the American Revolution. The afternoon sun hangs gently over the sleepy villages, soft and warm, casting long, lazy shadows across cobblestone streets and worn wooden fences. The air is thick with the scent of freshly cut hay, the faint smoke from hearth fires, and the subtle tang of salt drifting from the harbor. In this quiet moment, the ordinary world continues its slow rhythm, but beneath the calm surface, a more secret world begins to stir, a world of hidden messages, careful observation, and clever ingenuity. This is the heart of the Culper Ring, where ordinary people became invisible threads in a larger story. Imagine sitting at a small wooden table, the surface worn smooth by years of daily use. A quill rests between your fingers, its tip dipped gently into ink that seems ordinary, yet carries possibilities hidden from the untrained eye. Robert Townsend, one of Washington's quiet observers, bends over a sheet of parchment, moving slowly and deliberately. Every stroke of the pen is measured, deliberate, a gentle act of creation and concealment at the same time. He writes what looks like an ordinary letter, perhaps to a friend or a distant relative, but beneath the words lies a hidden intelligence, numbers, codes, an invisible ink that will reveal the true message only to those who know how to read it. Invisible ink, or sympathetic stain as it was often called, is a quiet magic of its time. Applied with the gentlest touch, it appears as nothing more than a blank page, yet beneath the surface, secrets rest patiently, waiting to be revealed. A letter may be heated slowly over a fire, or brushed with a solution that brings the hidden words to light, revealing the careful observations of spies who move through villages and harbors without raising suspicion. The process is slow, deliberate, and requires patience, qualities the Culper Ring members possess in abundance. There is a soft rhythm to their work, a meditation in writing, folding, and hiding, as though each act carries a gentle, secret weight. Numbers and codes further enhance the mystery. Each person in the ring is assigned a number. Each location a subtle reference. Letters appear ordinary, yet when pieced together, they form a quiet puzzle, one that could tip the balance of war if interpreted correctly. Imagine the calm satisfaction of a message delivered and deciphered, a puzzle solved through patience and observation. It is not a rush or a race, it is the careful unfolding of knowledge, step by step, detail by detail. Each coded phrase is a tiny treasure, hidden in plain sight, and only those trained in the gentle art of reading it understand its significance. The letters move slowly, carefully carried along familiar routes. Abraham Woodhull rides along quiet country roads, his horse stepping softly over the dirt path. He passes fields where farmers bend over their crops, unaware of the secret he carries. In taverns, among merchants and townsfolk, Robert Townsend gathers and records information, blending into the soft rhythms of daily life. Messages are passed along, folded into letters or hidden within ordinary items, bundles of laundry, parcels, or the folds of a coat. Nothing draws attention. Everything seems ordinary. Yet within this calm routine, a vast network of intelligence quietly unfolds. Even the act of observation is performed with gentle care. Spies note the comings and goings of soldiers, the subtle changes in shipping patterns, the way a gate is left slightly ajar or a lamp burns longer than usual. These small, almost imperceptible details are recorded, remembered, and sent forward, each one a thread connecting distant points of a quiet, invisible web. There is a soft beauty in this system, a rhythm in which ordinary life and secret work coexist without disturbing the natural flow of either. The cleverness lies not in flash or grandeur, but in patience, subtlety, and the quiet, steady accumulation of knowledge. Anna Strong, quietly tending her household, adds another layer of ingenuity. From the shore of Setauket, she hangs laundry on lines that sway in the wind, signaling messages to those who know the code. A black petticoat may indicate a meeting is set, the number of white handkerchiefs reveals timing. And the system flows seamlessly into the ordinary motions of daily life. The British pass by, paying no mind, while the intelligence moves slowly and safely across the town. There is almost a poetic rhythm to it, the wind, the swaying cloth, the soft footsteps of a horse along the road, all part of a quiet dance of communication. As we linger in this world, notice how the ordinary becomes extraordinary. The scent of ink and paper, the gentle rocking of a boat in the harbor, the soft flap of laundry in the breeze, these are the tools of a network that relies on calm, observation, and ingenuity. There is no shouting, no sudden action. Only slow, deliberate work, patience, and care. It is almost meditative, a soft choreography of secret acts unfolding in plain sight, hidden in the soft folds of daily life. There is also a gentle, persistent mystery. Each letter carries questions. What has been seen? What has been noted? What will be revealed next? The answers remain hidden, waiting for the right moment, the right hands, and the right eyes to uncover them. You can almost feel the suspense in the air, not sharp or alarming, but soft and curious, like a key turning slowly in a distant lock. The rhythm of secrecy is almost musical, a quiet pulse beneath the ordinary sounds of the village, the creaking of shutters, and the lap of water against the dock, as evening approaches. The sun dipping low over the horizon, the harbor glows with warm, amber light. Shadows lengthen, and the quiet work of the Culper Ring continues in small, patient ways. Letters are hidden, numbers are memorized, and the ordinary world remains unchanged to those who look only at the surface. The intelligence flows invisibly, a calm river beneath the visible world. It is a network that thrives on subtlety, patience, and the ordinary gestures of people who, without fanfare, carry the weight of history quietly in their hands. And so, we leave this part of the story in gentle reflection. Imagine the letters, folded carefully and hidden away, the ink that reveals secrets only when touched with warmth or special solutions. And the slow, deliberate movements of riders and watchers across the countryside. The Culper Ring exists quietly, almost invisibly, threading its way through ordinary life, creating patterns that only reveal themselves to those who know how to look. There is a soft invitation here, to notice the beauty in subtlety, the power in patience, and the quiet strength in ordinary acts performed carefully. As you imagine these quiet, gentle routines, allow yourself to linger on the soft mystery of codes and hidden messages, the invisible work that moves silently beneath the world's notice. When you are ready, the next part of our story will follow the ring further, revealing the clever signals, secret rendezvous, and the invisible dance of intelligence that shaped the outcome of the Revolutionary War in ways no one could hear, see, or disturb. Evening settles gently over the village, soft and golden, as the last light brushes the tops of wooden houses and slips across quiet roads. The air is cool and carries the faint smell of salt from the nearby water, mingled with the earthy aroma of freshly turned soil. Everything seems still, almost suspended in time. It is in this calm, ordinary world that the quiet work of the Culper Ring continues, moving with patience and subtle intelligence. In this part of our story, we follow the delicate signals and secret arrangements that allowed ordinary people to carry extraordinary information without raising suspicion. Anna Strong moves slowly along her small stretch of coastline, her hands steady as she tends to her household tasks. She carries baskets of laundry to the lines outside, the fabric soft and warm from the afternoon sun. But her movements are not merely ordinary. Every garment, every item, carries a gentle message, an invisible rhythm that only those who know the code can understand. A black petticoat hangs on one line, a simple handkerchief on another. The wind tugs gently at the cloth, and with each sway, a hidden communication travels silently across the quiet town. To anyone else, it is merely laundry fluttering in the breeze. To the eyes of the Culper Ring, it is a carefully crafted signal, a wordless message moving through space and time. Imagine standing nearby, the soft rustle of fabric and the occasional distant clop of horse hooves the only sounds. There is a stillness in the air, a sense that something important is moving, but almost imperceptibly. The tide laps quietly against the shore, mingling with the faint scent of pine and salt, while the faint glow of lanterns begins to appear in the windows of houses as families settle in for the evening. Nothing seems urgent, nothing dramatic. Yet beneath the calm surface, a network of careful observation, precise timing, and gentle ingenuity is at work, quietly shaping events beyond the village. The messages do not travel alone. Riders move slowly along familiar roads, memorizing details, passing notes, and delivering intelligence with patience and care. Abraham Woodhull carries one letter along a winding path through the countryside. Stepping carefully over rocks and uneven ground. He pauses occasionally, observing soldiers from a distance, noting the number of troops or the appearance of their uniforms. The information is recorded quietly, in thought and in small written marks, folded and concealed for safe delivery. Every step, every gesture, is deliberate, measured, and invisible to the world around him. The ordinary rhythm of life provides a perfect cover for the extraordinary task. Even within the quiet streets of the village, secret meetings occur in small, unremarkable locations, a back room in a tavern, a shadowed corner of a dock, or a quiet field behind a cluster of houses. People gather slowly, exchanging letters, memorizing observations, and planning the next careful moves. There is no hurry, no sharpness or fear. Conversations are low, deliberate, almost whisper-like, so that only those involved can hear. Each interaction is precise, almost like a dance performed softly in the golden glow of lanterns, in rhythm with the gentle pulse of daily life. The elegance of the system lies in its simplicity and patience. A message hidden in a piece of cloth, a note delivered under the cover of routine, a number written in a ledger. These small, slow gestures carry enormous meaning. And yet, there is a beauty in the quiet, a subtle poetry that runs through each action. The wind moves the laundry. The water laps gently against the docks, the horses' hooves whisper over the dirt path, and the secrets flow calmly alongside them. The ordinary world becomes both stage and ally for those who carry the weight of hidden knowledge. There is also a gentle tension beneath the surface. Each participant understands the stakes, but they move without fear, relying instead on patience and careful planning. Every evening, every letter, every movement is an exercise in subtlety. A lantern appears in a distant window at just the right hour. A black petticoat is folded carefully on the line. A rider chooses a quiet path through the fields. To the casual observer, these are mere routines. To the Culper Ring, they are threads weaving an intricate tapestry of intelligence, each one essential, each one carefully balanced within the ordinary world. As night falls fully, the village becomes softer, shadows stretching and blending with the dim glow of lanterns. The air grows cool, carrying the faint scent of the bay and the subtle aroma of burning wood from hearths. Anna Strong moves inside, the signals now complete for the evening. Riders return, letters safely delivered, notes memorized. The network rests briefly, as calm as the land itself, while the work of observation and intelligence continues quietly, waiting for the next morning, the next task, the next opportunity. The mystery lingers here. Gentle and persistent, like the glow of a candle just beyond reach. What messages have moved unseen? Which details have been recorded carefully for Washington? Which observations will prove vital in the days to come? The answers are hidden, almost invisible, and the quiet suspense creates a soft, almost hypnotic curiosity. It is not tension meant to alarm, but a gentle invitation to imagine the invisible threads connecting people, places, and information in ways that the ordinary world never notices. And as we leave this chapter, notice the calm efficiency, the elegance, and the patient rhythm of the Culper Ring. See the laundry swaying in the breeze, the faint glow of lanterns on quiet streets. The gentle steps of riders along meandering paths. The ordinary carries extraordinary significance, and every small act, performed with care and attention, is part of a larger, unseen story. Let the calm of this network settle around you, its subtle mystery lingering softly in your mind. When you are ready, the next part of our story will reveal how all these quiet efforts, the codes, the signals, the careful observation, converge to influence events far beyond these small villages. The invisible world of the Culper Ring continues to unfold, quietly shaping history while the ordinary world sleeps, unaware. The night deepens over the quiet villages, the sky a soft tapestry of stars reflected in the calm waters of the harbor. A gentle breeze drifts through the streets, brushing against wooden fences, rustling the tops of fields, and carrying the faint, comforting sense of pine, salt, and evening fires. Everything moves slowly in this world, the rhythm of daily life, the gentle lap of waves, and the quiet steps of those who have carried secrets for the greater good. In this final part of our story, we reflect on the lasting influence of the Culper Spy Ring and the subtle ways their careful work shaped the course of history. Imagine the letters and messages that have traveled across the countryside. Hidden in bundles of laundry, tucked inside parcels, or memorized and carried by riders on winding roads. Each note has passed from hand to hand with patience and care, containing information that may seem small in the moment, a detail about a troop movement, the arrival of ships, the placement of supplies, but collectively, these quiet observations form a larger, more powerful picture. It is in the accumulation of these small truths, observed by ordinary people in ordinary ways, that the intelligence network's true value lies. George Washington, sitting quietly in his study, receives the information slowly, one careful report at a time. He reads each letter with deliberate attention, understanding not just the facts themselves, but the subtle trust and care embedded within them. The network works without fanfare, without drama, and yet its effect is profound. By knowing what the British do, where they move, and what they plan, Washington can make informed decisions without risking unnecessary conflict. The Culper Ring's influence is quiet, invisible, and almost invisible, yet it is essential. There is a soft beauty in this subtlety. The spies were not celebrated heroes in the streets or on the battlefield. They did not seek recognition, nor did they require it. Their work was performed in the ordinary spaces of life, the farms, the markets, the shores, blending seamlessly with the rhythm of daily existence. And in that quiet, patient diligence lies a gentle lesson. History is often shaped not by grand gestures, but by steady, thoughtful, and deliberate action. The network also carries a sense of shared responsibility. Every member understands that their small acts, though unremarkable to anyone else, contribute to something far greater. Abraham Woodhull's careful observations, Robert Townsend's coded letters, Anna Strong's quiet signals, all flow together, creating a web of intelligence that Washington relies upon. There is a poetry in this collaboration, a soft harmony between ordinary lives and extraordinary outcomes. The world continues to move at its calm pace, yet beneath it, invisible threads weave a story that few will ever fully see. As you imagine the villages, the quiet roads, and the gentle sway of laundry lines in the evening breeze, you might notice how ordinary life can hold extraordinary secrets. The quiet diligence of the Culper Ring continues to ripple outward, influencing events in ways that are subtle, soft, and nearly imperceptible. Their careful observations, patient delivery of information, and clever use of codes and signals allowed a network of ordinary citizens to play an essential role in shaping the future of a nation. There is also a gentle sense of reflection here, a calm invitation to consider the beauty of subtle influence. Not all important actions are loud or dramatic. Some unfold slowly, invisibly, and with quiet patience. The people of the Culper Ring remind us that observation, thoughtfulness, and care can change the course of events as surely as the loudest battles. And yet, unlike the chaos of war, this work has its own rhythm, soft, deliberate, and intimate, a quiet dance that moves in harmony with the ordinary world around it. In the late hours of the evening, the village rests beneath the soft glow of lanterns. The wind brushes through the trees, carrying whispers of information that have traveled safely, unnoticed, and preserved. Horses rest in stables, the gentle creak of their stalls blending with the distant lapping of water on the shore. Families sleep peacefully in their homes, unaware of the invisible network that has quietly worked to protect them. And in this calm, the legacy of the Culper Ring endures, not as loud or celebrated heroes, but as the patient, careful, and gentle hands that quietly shaped history. As our story comes to a close, you might let your mind rest on these quiet images, the soft flutter of fabric on the lines, the slow, measured steps of riders along familiar roads, the faint glow of lanterns in peaceful windows, and the calm rhythm of life moving in harmony with subtle acts of courage. The Culper Ring existed quietly, invisibly, yet powerfully. Their patience, care, and ingenuity remind us that history is often written not in grand gestures, but in the soft, deliberate movements of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. And so, as you listen and settle into the quiet of the evening, allow this gentle rhythm to linger, the rhythm of secrets carried softly, of messages hidden in plain sight, and of ordinary lives shaping the extraordinary. The story of the Culper Spy Ring is a story of patience, subtlety, and quiet influence. It is a story that reminds us that even the smallest, most careful acts can ripple outward, quietly changing the world. Now, let your thoughts drift with the calm of the village streets, the gentle sway of the laundry lines, and the soft glow of lanterns along the harbor. Rest in the quiet knowledge that, beneath the ordinary, extraordinary things can happen. And as you settle deeper into relaxation, know that the hidden world of Washington spies continues, quietly moving through the shadows of history, softly influencing the future, and gently reminding us that calm persistence can leave a lasting mark. As the night deepens and the stars begin to shimmer softly above, our journey through the quiet corners of history comes to a gentle pause for tonight. The streets of long-forgotten towns grow still, the waves of distant harbors lap softly against the shore, and the whispers of centuries past fade into the calm of evening. Let your mind drift among the soft echoes of days gone by, resting in the small, hidden stories that shaped the world. yet remain almost invisible to the hurried gaze. Tonight, we leave these tales tucked safely in the folds of time, letting their gentle rhythm lull you toward peace. Close your eyes, breathe slowly, and carry the calm of history with you as you drift into rest. Good night. Or rest well, time traveler.